We remember and honor the work of Pope Francis and all he did to help heal the world. Let us acknowledge that these sacred lands that we love are the ancestral lands of the Yavapai people. Now, as we prepare to sing our first song, I brought something to share with you. It's called The Earth is My Mother, and it's on page 1073. But this drum was made by Philip Martinez, and it's from the Taos Pueblo in New Mexico. And so I thought, since this song is a Native American song, that Rick Shore, our musician later for today, is going to help keep the beat with the special drum. Okay, so stand if you're able. And we have a little choir up here. Russ and Rick are going to help. Yeah. All right. The earth is our mother.
Oh, well.
Okay. Our mother, we must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Her sacred ground to walk upon. With every step we take, her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. The sky is our father. We will take care of him. The sky is our father. We will take care of him. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. The sea is our sister. Well, her is our sister. We will take care of her. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. The forest is our brother. We will take care of him. The earth is our brother. We will take care of him. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Hey, younga ho, younga, hey, young, young. Thank you. Thanks, Rick. All right. Yeah. Well, all the verses are good on that one. All right. Nice job with all your singing. So good morning on this cool, beautiful day to everyone that's here and those of you on Zoom. Welcome to Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Leslie Grady, your worship associate. We're so happy you're here and extend a welcome to all. It's great to be snuggled together here in Davis Hall, and wonderful seeing so many familiar faces as well as a few visitors. Welcome to you. Would any of our visitors be comfortable standing and introducing yourself? Patrick didn't know this, but I invited some of our neighbors to come today. And I'd love for them to stand. I'm going to be like our minister, Roger. Carol? Oh, just our neighbors are visitors. Come on up. I love Carol.
Did I
Turn
stand?
around.
Did I stand?
Yeah. All right. Would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Carol Ambrose, and as Leslie said, I'm a neighbor and happy to be here. So thank you so much for welcoming.
And here's a pen. It has our church name on it. And there's Roy and Kathy, if you'll introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Roy, and this is Kathy, and we're also neighbors.
Yay! Thanks for coming, you guys. See, I got some secrets up my sleeve. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you. Hi there. Stand up and tell us who you are. Oh, no. Can I read that? Clark. That's Clark. Hi, Clark. Nice to have you with us. Here's a pen for you. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks, Rick. I didn't see that.
Sally.
What?
Sally.
Oh, I'm Sally. You didn't stand up. Hold on. You can't get past me. All right. Sally?
Hi, Sally Shore. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Here's a pen. And Rick Shore is our musical guest today.
Rick Shore, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Okay. What? Okay. Thank you. Here you go. You're welcome. All right. Well, after the service right here in Davis Hall, I'm going to turn this off now. All right. After the service, you'll all have an opportunity to visit with new friends and old over coffee and snacks right here, and we hope you'll join us. In our work for justice and ministry here at Granite Peak, we utilize the principles of our mission statement, which reads as follows. We are a compassionate, spiritual community that celebrates diversity, nurtures the personal and spiritual growth of all ages, and shares our gifts, promotes justice for all, and serves the world in which we live. We always appreciate those who help make our service so special, such as our pianist, Lena Hubin, Martin Bremmel on AV. Woo! Brian Willison, the house manager, and all our Sunday morning volunteers. Now, usually, as worship associate, we bring flowers, but today, since we're celebrating Earth Week, these beautiful geraniums are for those 4 people to take home. Brian, Lena, Martin, and Lena, Martin, Brian, and Rick. Today we also thank Patrick Grady for his message and Rick Shore for his music. You all make this service a special event. Now please take a moment to set your phones on worship mode. As we start our announcements, first of all, Russ has a couple words he'd like to share with us.
Well, I want to thank all of you who showed up on Thursday night, and I think it was most of you. We had a swinging time here with Doc Garvey and Remedy. It was nice to see so many sort of geriatric people up dancing on the dance floor. It was great. And we've been getting more pledges all the time, so things are looking very good on that front. And I have one thing that I neglected to do on Thursday night in going through the project team. There are 13 of us, not 12. And the one I left out was this gentleman over here. Stephen, would you stand up, please? Yeah. Yeah. Stephen has been with this crowd for years and years, and he certainly deserves recognition. He's had comments on a lot of different aspects of the project. Not a lot of comments, but good comments every time they come. So thank you, and I'm sorry for the omission.
I just want to remind everybody that next week there'll be a presentation of the budget that we will be voting on the following week. So after service, there'll be a budget presentation. The following week will be the annual congregational meeting. congregational meeting to approve the budget and also elect new members for the coming year. I just want to remind you about that.
Well, as you can tell, Granite Peak is a habit in place with many activities and events. To learn more about them, you can check out our website at prescottuu.org, the weekly Peak email, and the View, which is our monthly newsletter. If you would like to receive these, please contact the office and Lisa will make sure that you get them. Well, our Children's Faith Development Coordinator, Sandra Palacios, is teaching the children ages 5 and over at the Faith Development Building across the street. And each time I'm worship associate, I always ask her, well, what are you going to be doing with the children? And boy, this time she really let me know a lot of things, but I will kind of paraphrase. They're going to be talking about Earth Week and why we have it, how it got started, why it's important. She also sent me a beautiful poem that she's going to share with the children. And they are also going to be making Mother Earth t-shirts. So, yeah, she does such a wonderful job. Well, now it's time to introduce the guest speaker for today. And there's a lot I could say about Patrick Grady. He is such a special man in my life, and we've been married over 55 years. Some of you might not know that he's written 2 books. This wasn't things that you gave me, was it?
Yep.
No. Both on homesteading, one about Phoenix in the 1800s and the early homesteaders, and then the one after that was Cave Creek, where he actually interviewed original families that homesteaded in Cave Creek, and that was really, he had a lot of interviews. That was fun. You might not know that he started Habitat for Humanity in Columbus, Ohio, when we lived there. I worked with him also, but that was a wonderful thing that he did. And also that his favorite group is Paul Revere and the Raiders. But Patrick is also the co-lead of the GPUUC Social Justice Ministry Council. He's also involved in the Quad Cities Climate Collaborative, the Interfaith Climate Action Team, and the newly formed Working Group on Sustainability. He finds both peace and love in our community, in the beauty of our natural surroundings of lakes and mountains, and in family. We begin our service in the Unitarian Universalist tradition of lighting our chalice. Our chalice lighter this morning is Gary Warab. As we light our chalice on this spring morning, let us fill our hearts with overflowing love, bringing to mind the things we are grateful for. Now let us focus on the earth. Consider that everything that we experience, love, and feel grateful for is made possible by the incredible planet that sustains us. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the materials that build our homes, and our clothing all come from the life-giving planet we call home. And here's Patrick with some words of gathering.
Good morning, all. As we gather today, let us acknowledge the deep sadness that is felt around the world with the recent passing of Pope Francis. He was one of our planet's most powerful moral voices, an unwavering advocate for the earth and for the vulnerable. His encyclical of 2015, Laudato Si, on care for our common home, still resonates as a clarion call for environmental stewardship, social justice action, and for care of our common home. And now, join with us with the opening hymn in your teal hymnal, number 1067, Mother Earth, Beloved Garden.
Mother Earth, beloved garden, and treasure underfoot, all our days around our feet, and thistle blossom root, herbs and hills, to feed us, left to till and tend and plow, with a wind that deep as midnight, Lord, we ask you be here now. Father, air your inspiration, together all that lives, all we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading up to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud, with the blade as sharp as morning, we ask you be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food and heats our home. Flaming candle blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the wind and the power south, we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond, and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting cleanse as we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes, all the courage will allow. With the cup and the holy chalice blessed, we ask you be here now. Lover, spirit, intuition, in the center of our soul. In your love we find revelation, all connected we are whole. Tireless mystery, quite consent, just deepest values voice within. With the drum and with the cauldron, we ask you be our guide. Oh, really nice earth songs in that book. So please join me in saying the words to the covenant. I think it's in your program. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth and sacrament and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, thus do we covenant together. As we prepare to take the offering this morning, let us embrace the feeling of connection and community we have when we gather here each week. Let us remember that this congregation and its programs are supported by your generosity. We also give back to the greater community through our Seeds of Support program. This month's recipient is Feed Your Neighbors. They purchase fresh produce from local farmers and get this food to those in need. Please read more about them in your order of service. To contribute online, please visit our website, prescottuu.org. Now, please enjoy our offertory music played by Lena, Colors of the Wind. I love that. We acknowledge the generosity of spirit expressed through this offering. What is given in love is received in gratitude. Blessed be. Now we will turn to joys and sorrows. I don't know if you heard, but Frank Beeson passed away. Yes, at the Mayo Hospital in Phoenix. Nancy is at their condo in Scottsdale with their family. So our beloved community is the heart of Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. As we experience a time of meditation and music, we will take a few moments to silently acknowledge the joys and concerns of our hearts and mind. If there's an event which moves you to joy or concern, hope or gratitude, I invite you to come forward silently and drop a pebble from this dish into our communal water with an affirmation of our connection to one another. I would like to drop the first 2 pebbles in to remember Frank and also Pope Francis. May our joys and concerns, surrounded by the healing communal water of our beloved community, be acknowledged here today. So may it be. Let us sing together, Spirit of Life, played by Lena Hubin. Now for the reading, here's Patrick.
The reading this morning is taken from Llewellyn Mon Lee's book, Spiritual Ecology, The Cry of the Earth. Our present ecological crisis is calling to us, and it's for each of us to respond. What matters is how we connect to the sacred and return to a sense of deep belonging here in this place of wonder we call the earth. There is action to be taken in the outer world, in our communities, and in the environment, but it must be action that comes from the reconnection with the sacred. There's also work to be done within our hearts and minds, the foundational work of healing the soul of the world. And central to all this work is the understanding that we are here to help each other and to help the earth. We are here to be of service. It's also a moment for those who have heard the cry of the earth, who care for its well-being and for the souls of future generations, to step into what they know and what they feel. It's an opportunity for us once again to take responsibility for the miracle and mystery of this sacred world. So thank you for having me this morning. Glad to be here and chat with you about building a resilient community together. We are here at the end of Earth Week. This is something that several of us started about 4 or 5 years ago. We didn't think that the Greater Prescott Outdoor Fund and the singular Earth Day event that they manage was enough to honor Earth Day. So we began to hold a series of events, throughout the Prescott community. But here we are at the end. Only one more event, the film Common Ground at Sacred Heart Church this afternoon at 2:30. Well, this has been a very reaffirming work locally, being together at all the varied events. We know that the environment is under daily attack by the actions of our president and his cabinet in Washington. There's a whole litany of executive orders dismantling climate and environmental programs. From getting out of the Paris Climate Accord, once again, erasing websites, deleting the science of climate change, harming public lands and our national parks, going full tilt to drill for more oil, fracking, and natural gas, and opening up our forests for more lumber. You know the litany, you know the list. In the face of this daily barrage of despairing news, frankly, not easy to stand here and say we need to build a resilient community together. But that's what I'm going to do. So come along for the ride. I want to remind us this morning of our UU values and our own Granite Peak UU legacy. This is what can support us as we move forward with climate and environmental action. It reminds me of the time-worn slogan, think globally, act locally. So let's start with our new UU values. I'm sure you all can repeat them, but I'll say them myself. Equity, generosity, interdependence, justice, pluralism, and transformation, with love at the center. These are the new UU values that can serve as a guide for our actions. That interdependence value reaffirms one of my favorite UU principles: respect the interdependent web of all existence of which we all are a part. That was the theme of our interfaith service that some of you were at First Congregational Church this past Wednesday. Earth care, all creation is connected. And a shout out to those of you who are involved with the Interfaith Choir. That music was lovely and inspirational. Our own UU Association had this message for us recently. This is a moment for deliberateness, care, thoughtfulness, and coordination. We will discern together the actions needed in the months and years ahead, and it will be imperative for us all, individually and collectively, to reground in the spiritual practices and organizing skills that we have been cultivating for so long. You don't often hear spiritual practices and organizing skills together, but it warms my heart. Check out the latest issue of the UU World. There is an enlightening column by a Black UU activist on this very topic. I think it's a really important message for us all. So I have a question. You don't have to raise your hand, but did you actually know that we have a social justice empowerment program manual to guide us on this path? Well, we do. I found out a couple of months ago at a social justice council meeting. But it contains some meaningful direction for us to ponder. In it, there are 5 types of social justice actions identified. So think of Granite Peak UU as you listen to these. Service, education, witness, advocacy, and community organizing. I'm challenging myself in these days to ask, what does that mean for me? But I also ask, what does that mean for the Granite Peak UU Social Justice Council? What does that mean for the Granite Peak UU Board of Directors? First, let's look at our own GPUU legacy around care of the earth over the past several years. We were the only faith community in the Prescott area to declare a climate emergency and acknowledge this as a climate crisis. We were the only faith community to provide financial support through Seeds of Support to the Protect campaign to secure City of Prescott support for our Quad Cities climate assessment. We of GPU have been visible members of the Interfaith Climate Action Team, a group that was key to the success of the Protect campaign. We are one of the few faith communities with an active social justice council that supports both service and advocacy. We witness throughout the year by showing up. That's the foundation we have laid for ourselves. But the path ahead is challenging, to say the least. How do we sustain ourselves during these times? How do we push through with love, as we are called to do? I'm personally committed to finding common ground, but democracy and long-held American values and norms are under attack, including what used to be a bipartisan and nonpartisan commitment to the care and protection of the environment. Care for the earth is an interfaith legacy that cannot and will not be allowed to be canceled. 2 years ago, at this same time, last year we were in the Netherlands, I spoke about contemporary prophets and their inspirational stories. Greta Thunberg, Naomi Klein, Pope Francis, and Sherry Mitchell of the Penobscot Nation. A lot of wisdom from their stories and a lot of inspiration that can provide some sustenance even today. Today, I want to focus on building that resilient community together from a more practical, pragmatic, and grassroots perspective. Let's go a little deeper this morning into the advocacy and community organizing themes laid out in the UU Empowerment Manual. So these are quotes from that manual. 1, the purpose of advocacy is to work through the legislative process to impact public policy. The purpose of community organizing is to participate in the process by which decisions are made in places of power. The focus is on the power of institutional structures and how that power is used for good or for evil. This approach is based on the recognitions that individuals, as individuals, have little power to change their situations without the empowerment of groups who know how to organize and influence power. Just think about those words power again and how that applies to your own work. One of the rallying cries on the public square on Earth Day, the official Earth Day, this past Wednesday the 22nd, was our power, our planet. The continuing challenge then before us is how can we harness that power? And, moreover, can we make this work in Prescott? Our answer should be an emphatic yes. And let's look at some recent examples that have occurred at the grassroots level that should give us that support for that answer of yes. So you're all familiar with Save the Dells. So just kind of outlining some of these. So it started in 2016. That campaign lasted about 6 or 7 years. And as we all know, there was development that could impact and threaten the whole ecosystem, the Granite Dells area. And of course, it's such an iconic area for us all. It took a community-wide movement to bring sufficient pressure to preserve over 500 acres. I still remember the rallies, the event that occurred at Yavapai College to a packed house at the Performing Arts Center, another huge rally at the Prescott High Middle School. The Save the Dells campaign was nonpartisan, that's important, and their messaging was so good. That momentum moved the city to then later purchase the remaining lands of the nearby Storm Ranch. So not only did that community-based organization lead our community to a common shared objective, but Save the Dells leadership was also invited to have a seat at the negotiating table. Recently, you may have heard some things about the preservation of open space. Building on that same concern, several citizens, including Save the Dells, recently brought forth Proposition 484, an open space amendment to provide permanent protection for 2,700 acres of city-owned land. This mini campaign just lasted over a few months and actually goes to the voters this fall for ratification. A very successful effort building on the momentum created by the Save the Dells campaign. And let's look at one also near and dear to me, the Protect campaign. Some of you may know that our Quad City Climate Collaborative was central to putting that campaign together. A number of you were involved in that. We wanted a very small step, by the way, which was simply to secure city support for a regional climate assessment. Sedona had one, Flagstaff had one, but frankly, until the summer of 2021, and we've been around since mid-2017, all we heard was silence from those sitting city councils. So we felt we needed to change the narrative and the strategy. And interesting side story, short story, but Leslie had pointed out to me that there was a training seminar coming up with a group called Pace Bene on how to organize campaigns. And I thought, well, let's do that together. So several folks from Prescott Peace Builders and several folks from our group learned a lot by that training. That was really important to us. So we kicked off the campaign in July of 21 with hopefully a catchy acronym and slogan, PROTECT. And PROTECT stands for Planning for the Resiliency of Our Town, the Environment, Climate, and Tourism. So PROTECT, we're all in this together, a nonpartisan message to folks across the political spectrum. It was all about the protection of our waters, wildfire preparedness, the environment, and the economy, focusing on the increasing temperatures that we're experiencing, the long-term drought, all of this resulting from, dare I say it, climate change. 9 months later, during Earth Week of 2022, we secured a study session with Prescott City Council. At that study session, we had brought in a research group out of the University of Arizona, and they offered to self-fund the Quad Cities climate profile. A free study. I think that was probably more than all the rallies, more perhaps than all the speakers that we had for 2 straight months of city council meetings. I think it was that free study. How could they turn down a free study? So 2 months later, our council approved by a unanimous, so think of that, unanimous 7-0 vote to proceed with the development and publication of that profile. It was completed and released in February of 23. along with a local climate action options report that we prepared to complement that had about 41 action items that different communities within our Quad Cities could actually pursue. So think of those dates. We started in July of 2021 with the campaign, and nearly 2 years later, it came to an end. So that was 2 years. I believe our success was largely due to our decision to organize people through a multifaceted campaign, also having a singular goal and a simple message that spoke more to climate impacts, not necessarily using the word climate change every time we spoke. We were seeking common ground. So the Protect campaign was another recent example of how engaged citizenry can influence city policies and strategies. The values of relationship building, collaboration, and persistence, and I'm going to repeat, persistence, were and continue to be keys to that movement. And one final and recent action was the formation of the Prescott Sustainability Working Group. That was one of the recommendations that came out of our local climate action options report 2 years ago. So in there, our report recommended potentially creating a commission or committee or working group, whatever they wanted to call it. We just wanted to move forward to focus on broader and interconnected issues around a sustainable future for our community. So remember, I mentioned persistence. Well, so that was, like I said, in January, which is 2 years from that publication. We finally secured a study session, again, this past January, and again, unanimously, the City Council directed the City Manager's Office to work with a newly established Prescott Sustainability Working Group, which actually was 3 of us from the Quad Cities Climate Collaborative. We're currently in conversations about best practice research in a number of important areas around energy use, stormwater management, solar at municipal facilities, and for those of you that have electric vehicle charging stations, and perhaps even municipal electric vehicle purchases. All elements that will make us a thriving and scenic community with a prosperous and more competitive local economy, values that are within the City of Prescott's recently adopted vision statement. Well, in the midst of all this, we have the 2025 general plan hanging in the balance. Despite over 2+ years of work and ultimate approval last December by the General Plan Review Committee, who, by the way, were appointed by City Council, and the approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission, also appointed by the City Council, and months of public meetings and significant citizen engagement and input. Nonetheless, some folks continue to be critical of a number of elements that are in the approved draft. Hard to list them all, but it includes dark skies, being designated a tree city, anti-discrimination language, and sad to say, the climate and energy section, and other woke ideology. Their term, not mine. In fact, we just heard that on May 3rd, there's a meeting, this Saturday, there is a meeting on the general plan at the library from 1:15 to 4:30. And here's the meeting description. The purpose of the meeting is to educate people about the plan and its implications and have a discussion around solutions. Sounds good so far. But both for preventing approval of the general plan draft, as well as stopping any future avenues for such ideas, communitarianism in parentheses, to return to Prescott. So let me read that again. Both for preventing the approval of the general plan draft after years of work on that, as well as stopping any future avenues for such ideas, communitarianism, to return to Prescott. doesn't say who's calling the meeting. Doesn't sound good. Frankly, I'm still not sure what communitarianism is. So if you have some definitions, tell me later. But I think I might be one. I saw one definition that spoke to the importance of social cohesion, shared values, and the common good. I like those values. So I guess I have another label. And here is a further Sunday morning update on the general plan. The anti-discrimination language in the plan is still under discussion. Compromise, always a good thing, particularly in a nonpartisan situation. Compromise language really hasn't been achieved yet. Hopefully it will be soon. And here's another reminder of what's at risk. Just this past Thursday, the day after a very uplifting interfaith service on earth care and interconnectedness, I received a short note from city staff wondering if we could come in and chat about possible revisions to the climate and energy section actually this week. So we meet on Tuesday. Who knows what they're asking us to do with that section? So who knows what will happen between now and May 27th? As noted, the City Council will vote on moving the 2025 general plan, very likely, by the way, very likely, with some modifications, to the voters to ratify or not. That other group I was referring to would be voting against the draft plan as it currently is. Perhaps revisions that are being proposed will make that more acceptable to that group, but will it make it acceptable to us? I would point out that last year in Sierra Vista, the proposed, that's here in Arizona, by the way, down in southern Arizona, the proposed Vista 2040 general plan was not approved by voters. When I read an article about it, the commentary didn't say what the reasons were. Apparently, they're going through a survey to find out, so why did the citizens vote against this? But it has to go back to the voters then. So they'll have to undertake their planning efforts under the current general plan that's probably 5, 6, 7 years old like ours is. Our last plan was 2015, so it's 10 years old. There are a number of groups, and dare I say thousands of citizens, that certainly do not share the intentions and goal of that May 3rd meeting at the library. But we do expect to have some folks there to listen. One way or the other, it looks like we'll have some advocacy and organizing ahead of us. So join, as you are comfortable, to make our voices heard. Let us be inspired by Pope Francis and be that clarion call. I'm exceedingly grateful, as you know, to be a part of this spiritual community. I believe our GPUUC legacy of climate and environmental witness, advocacy, and even organizing are a reflection of our shared values that shows others in this community that we stand up for a beautiful natural environment and for the care and protection of all the amazing interconnection of creatures, plants, and humans. And as Rick Denny reminded me a couple of days ago, including the ever-evolving rocks and mountains of this planet Earth, our common home. May it be so.
Thanks, Patrick. He's amazing. I love him so much. So for today's closing song, we're so fortunate to have with us singer-songwriter Rick Shore. Many of you who were at the Lovejoy Celebration got to hear him sing there and talk about his songs, and he's a friend and also part of McDougal Street West, the Peter, Paul, and Mary group. And so he happily agreed to sing for us today his own song called A World to Restore.
Patrick for that. Leslie, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you. It's always better if I tune up. Just works that way. Usually I say something before a song, but Patrick had a great talk, and I'd like to just let the song speak for itself. A World to Restore. Can you hear that? I'm tired and confused, and I don't want to stare at the hurt in the news when there's so much despair. And I cry for the young, for they have no sin, sent out to sea when so few can swim. And that's why I'm forever grateful to feel hope in these darkest of days. There's a need to ignite, light one candle so bright that it blinds us with sight, to restore what we're all longing for. 'Cause we know life's not fair, yet we've hardly begun to open our hearts and realize we're one. So let's give what we can and keep just enough to feel truly blessed in this world that's so tough. And that's why I'm forever grateful to feel hope in these darkest of days. There's a need to ignite, light one candle so bright that it blinds us with sight, to restore what we're all longing for. 'Cause we're tired and confused, and we don't want to stare at the hurt in the news when there's so much despair. So it's time we unite, let's not fight anymore. Love needs to lead, it's a world to restore. Love needs to lead, it's a world to restore. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I should allow that to be the closing. That's just so beautiful and inspiring, and what Rick added to our Lovejoy Pettit Awards dinner was just very, very touching and moving. So thank you. So, as we try to navigate this period in our history, I encourage you to look to community as that place of refuge and comfort. That might be your own personal circle of friends, this UU community, or even other community-based organizations. If we hope to heal the earth and protect the environment and the most vulnerable, we can only achieve that through being in solidarity with one another. It's going to require us to go deeper with our own spiritual practices, whatever they may be. And it won't happen this year. It will be left to the hands and hearts of future generations. But the journey begins now. It begins with our own age, with our own legacy. As Pope Francis wrote in Laudato Si', we must regain the conviction that we need one another, that we have a shared responsibility for others and for the world, and that being good and decent are worth it.
With the extinguishing of our chalice, our worship time is ended, and now our service begins. Please join me with the words to extinguish our chalice flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So go out into the world and have a wonderful day. Enjoy some fellowship and some refreshments. Thank you all for coming. Nice job.